As you are doing that, the villager that you healed is like hugging and kissing your boot.
That is where you belong.
But he seems very happy to do it.
It's fine. We look down on humans as well.
Oh my God.
Good one, cleric.
I favor these mountains, and I have an almost primeval awareness. That's the name of the spell. of these surroundings.
Yes.
I can expend one first level spell slot, of which I have 4, and for 1 minute per level of spell slot I expend, I can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 6 miles, since we're in a mountain, right?
Wow, yeah. The whole island.
Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and the undead. It doesn't reveal their location or number.
You sense the presence of a dragon.
There's definitely the dragon down
I'm sorry, what were the other ones? Aberrations.
Aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Fiends and undead. There's nothing of the others.
Do I sense anything within 60 feet?
Yes. There's evil all around you.
What are gnolls?
They're chaotic evil.
Okay.
Bad. Gnolls are big, tall, hyena-like creatures. Savage.
I didn't know.
They wear like rib cages for hats. They're just bad
okay,
people.
okay. Awesome. I don't like them.
Rib cages for hats, though. Very fashionable.
I try to address the party. I say, adventurers, we are about to step into a den of evil. I suggest we protect ourselves, and by that I mean get behind me.
Fair enough.
Fine. Lead on.
All right. You walk into a larder, what appears to be a supply room of mostly dried frozen fish, whale, seal, walrus. There's like pieces of a giant cut up squid, all kinds of crazy crap around this room. It seems like a ton of food, and the villagers, they don't seem to look like they've touched any of it.
Warlock, you seem to be fond of scouting. Could you perform a little reconnaissance?
Yes, I will.
You also see some rope and some pulleys sort of piled up in a corner. Doesn't seem like something that these villagers would have access to normally either.
Oh man, okay.
And iron hooks.
Okay. So, I have a pretty good idea what this room is for. Are there any other entrances or exits in this room?
Yeah, you can see that there's kind of a ramp up to another tunnel exit.
Oh god, do I realize that I'm just getting closer and closer to a dragon? I can just kind of I feel it. I feel like that.
Well, yeah, you feel like you're sinking deeper and deeper into the complex, and if there is a dragon down here, if you keep going this direction, chances are you'll run into it.
Oh, wonderful. I poisoned the food.
But on the with
What?
Oh, I have poison.
Great. You lace the food.
Okay, I lace all the food, and then
I'll keep you busy for a few minutes.
And I guess I'll hide for.
All right.
I'll hide. Yeah, I'll hide.
All right. Cool. Well, it's a good thing that you tried to hide. In fact, I'd like you to make a stealth check.
Oh, cool.
All right. Oh. No, that might be okay.
That would be 12.
Okay. You hear something approach, and when it enters, it looks like about an 8-foot tall, kind of lean-built or spindly troll. But rather than having the typical green flesh of the troll, you see that its flesh is translucent, like ice, and it crackles when it walks.
It's a frost troll.
And it comes into the room. It's not particularly perceptive, because you don't think you were that well hidden. You kind of had to improvise.
Right.
But it seems to grab just a slab of meat sneakily, like it thinks it's being super sneaky, and leave.
Haha.
That was a smart move.
That's cool.
All right. The rest of you follow the paladin. Paladin, when you come out when you leave that room and you take the left turn that was suggested to you, you see a curving passage that descends ever deeper into the glacial ice, and the ice here is sort of a glow, a blue glow. There are 2 passages and the wall curves. On the outer curve of the wall, you see 2 side passages, one after another, about 20 feet apart.
Without saying anything, I look to the warlock.
So there's three ways to go?
There's straight ahead, essentially, and then 2 side passages.
I'm going
One after the
to
other.
stealth straight ahead.
Yep. Okay.
Turning
As far as you can go, kind of dealy, or how far away from them do you want to get? Because it looks like you can go pretty far.
30 feet.
Okay.
I say to the cleric, didn't that villager tell us to go left again?
We should go left.
Well, he's already gone.
Straight would be...
Yep, 30 feet will get you pretty much in front of the second side passage. And in that side passage, you hear crackling sounds. Like ice breaking, or ice crunching underfoot or something. And you also hear running water.
I am going to return and tell the party.
Okay.
What was the suspense center for? What else were you
I
gonna
thought
do?
maybe about going in
Oh,
there.
okay.
Very effective scouting.
Yeah. All right, so you come back.
Come back, relay the information.
Yes.
I think it is difficult for us to proceed forward without identifying the source of the sound.
I would agree. For once.
I don't like the sound of it. It sounds painful.
God, milk that cow.
I was once in a village of gnomes, and they had a device which played music, but it was broken, and it only played the same part of the song over and over again. You remind me of that device.
I wouldn't advise venturing that way.
Well,
Unfortunately, that noise was coming from the side passage, so at least the straight ahead passage seemed pretty quiet.
If we put 2 and 2 together, adventurers, I detected a den of evil. We are entering a god-forsaken place, and we hear noises ahead. I think it is best to prepare for battle.
yeah.
Perhaps it is unwise for the warlock to scout further because it will put his life at risk. So if we just go in expecting a fight, perhaps we will be in an advantageous position.
What say you, Longfellow?
Let us all go as one cohesive unit. Charge! I mean, I can heal you if we get hurt.
We should charge quietly, though.
Not a soldier
maybe.
anymore.
Perhaps we should use our strengths to our advantage and form a formation that would put us in the best position.
Well, I think you and I are fighters, strong. You're a fighter.
This is my kind of thing, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
You can either go 2 by 2 or single file in these passages. They're wide enough.
I'd like to go in front if I may.
Fair,
Lake in front.
fair enough. I'll go behind you.
Let us hope you are worthy.
The battle it excites me.
Paladin, I assume you're going in front.
Let myself and the fighter so eager to prove himself lead the charge.
All right.
You
I'll follow.
alone behind us, and then the warlock, the cleric, and then the warlock in the very back.
Seems like a good strategy.
Aye.
Let us go forth.
I ready my great axe.
All right. And your plan is to ignore the side passages and just keep going straight, or do you want to investigate each side passage in turn?
You guys are in the
We got a
front.
dragon to kill. We're going straight.
Okay, I like that logic.
All right.
Whatever.
Then you continue to descend, marching straight. You come to a point where it again continues straight, more or less, taking highs and lows, but generally descending. And then you see a fairly wide side passage. If you wish to ignore that, you can.
Can I just make a perception check to see if I hear anything coming
Absolutely.
from that passage? Oh, Okay, so it fell off the table. What is the DM rule for?
Roll again.
Okay. $21.
These. Let's see. You feel kind of a bit of a wash of heat coming through, but other than that, it's quiet.
I say, kind of in a hushed tone, hold. Hopefully you guys listen.
We hold.
Okay. I felt it. I felt what I believe is the dragon coming from that direction, pointing to where I felt the wave of heat.
Then let us stand here like cowards or proceed.
We shall proceed.
For once I agree with you. We shall proceed.
All right, so you leave the main corridor, head to the side, which is just as wide a space. You enter this very large cave. Fortunately, it seems to be empty and unused. There are ice pillars, naturally formed, that sort of support this the craggy ceiling, and there are icicles, the size of giant stalactites, hanging from the ceiling here. But there is another exit from the room, and it's a bit higher up. It seems to slope upward, and the heat comes from there, the higher room.
Can I use my nature or survival skills to try to tell the source of the heat?
Sure.
Or-
Just make a nature check.
I rolled an 11.
You can't discern the source. You don't think it's like a vent or anything like that. And then it strikes you. Your super sensitive dwarf nose tells you there's something about the smell on the. You can smell what appears to be oil, like from an oil lamp.
Smells like oil. Like from an oil
And you
lamp.
smell. You smell something like spicy, like cooking.
Smells kind of good.
And then you all start to smell it, just as. Yeah, it's like somebody's cooking something, like soup or something.
Soup.
After the ice troll leaves, what do you do?
So there's only that one ramp that goes up, right?
Yeah.
I go peer into the ramp.
Actually, I stand corrected.
Oh.
Make a wisdom perception check.
I believe that is 12.
Nope, I was right the first time.
I wish I were smarter. I peer into the other.
Oh, proficiency bonus is 3. Okay.
You see a small cave, almost like a crack, really, fissure, naturally formed cave that is far colder than other areas you've been in. This cold air comes up through a yawning pit in the floor that twists down into darkness, and above which a heavy iron hook is anchored in the ice of the ceiling. A 5-foot wide walkway sort of extends all around both sides of the pit, connecting this entrance to a tunnel on the far side of the room. Carved into the walls, you see images of white dragons. Crude, but there they are.
Is
Poison.
the frost troll still in that room?
No.
No. Okay. Well, then I take some of the poisoned meat and I put it on the hook. Try to lower it down.
Well, the hook is actually in the ice,
Oh.
and a rope hangs from it and drops down through the hole.
So it's not like a device that you put.
It's not
that
a
has
winch.
But there are
so
pulleys in
it's
the room,
just
the other room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are pulleys in the other room. You can see that somebody has conveniently left a rope here. As you kind of draw near the lip, you hear something down below. A large, open, echoing space where sound, even the smallest and most minute kind, seems to be amplified. So you can hear like cracking ice. You can also hear something breathing.
Okay. At first, I want to see if the hook is something that somewhat of my stature would use? Or is it like a
Yes.
human device? Does
Yeah,
it
it's
look
a,
like
it's a
been-
human device. You can also see it's got a loop at the end that you can basically hook a pulley onto
Oh, okay.
to create a sort of winch.
Right.
And it looks like it's in there good.
Alright, so I actually go back to the previous room. I take all the pulley stuff.
Yep.
I attach it.
'Kay.
Take all the poison meat. Put the poison meat.
Yep.
Lower the poison meat down, and then I proceed and go into the other room.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
And wait. Play the waiting game.
Indeed.
All right. You guys.
I'm gonna have this dragon taken care of for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It appears that Samuel's divine sense has just led us to some sort of delicious stew.
God does always lead you on the right path. That is true.
In the midst of this
I
cave,
smelled it first.
you enter an icy chamber, and you're surprised to see a shelter has been built in the middle of it, made of scraps of this and that, in the styles of the tents that you would expect, desert nomads to use. And you see hints of wafts of smoke coming out from under the tent, and feel a fair amount of heat there too. You can see the place is lit. The tent is obviously lit inside by a number of lamps because it looks kind of bright orange from the outside. And there are, when you sort of peer in through the folds of the tent, and it's only about 10 feet away, there's like tapestries and carpets and like braziers and like all the privileges of wealth in the middle of this ice cave on an island in the north. And then you start to see tables in there with like books and scrolls on them.
Could this be Makath's tent?
Hi! My cave! Hi!
Gonna get us killed.
Wow.
As soon as, as a reaction to him screaming, I try to hide.
Yes.
We bring you no harm.
And in fact, I try to move
Hear
away.
an echoing voice. It just seemed to come to you from the distance.
I shake my head.
SMH.
Hammerfall, what the hell are you doing down there?
Trying not to get killed.
A tiefling woman comes out of the tent and she says, "Silence, fool." And she says, "Come in, quickly.
Okay, I come into a tent.
All of
Here we
you."
all go in.
Yeah, you can see that her lavish tent contains a writing desk.
Ooh.
She's wearing a big sort of blazing crimson cloak over her shoulders with a silvery ivory brooch with a sort of a branching tree design. She's got a couple of mewling kobold attendants sort of kneeling
Whoa.
and bowing before you. And she's filled this room with all kinds of furnishings that you would not expect to find on an ice island, things that were obviously brought from other places. And her desk is absolutely cluttered with paperwork and whatnot. And she says, "The ice trolls will be here. They might smell you, and if they do, I'm not sure I can protect you.
Who are you?
I am Makath."
We have traveled far to find you.
"Were you sent by the Brotherhood?"
Yes.
Were we?
No,
I don't remember.
I don't think we were.
No.
She says, "I am in the midst of several magical translations for the dragon. I can't leave until it's finished."
You're working for the dragon?
"In a fashion, yes. I think that if I can help the dragon, at least I can protect the lands that he would dare ravage."
What if a band of brave warriors were to come to you and offer to slay the dragon to free you from working for it?
I don't think you know how big the dragon is.
What is the nature of these translations?
She says, "Well, many of these scrolls I was able to salvage from Arathator's horde. You see, he at one point in the past attacked an arcane Brotherhood tower in Luskan, a place called the Host Tower, and he robbed the place, took a bunch of our scrolls and books with him, and I've just recently been able to get them back. And I'm using them at the moment to help the dragon to figure out a way for the dragon to help his former mate, another dragon named Arviatris.
What do you know of the Drakhorn?
Oh, the Drakhorn. Well, it's not here. It was, but it's been taken away by some very strange masked cultists. They were rather fanatical dragon worshippers. One of them was a dwarf named Varam.
Varam.
Yes, he wore a white dragon mask.
Where are they now?
He says, I don't know. They took the horn and left some time ago. Months.
Months ago.
She says, but it can be tracked. I mean, it's a magical device of great power.
How would we track it?
Well, if I wasn't so distracted, I'd do so myself.
How can we help you not be distracted?
Well, I had planned to spend the next few months... Do you hear that?
We will kill the dragon.
Wait, you hear a crackling noise in the distance, and it seems to be getting closer.
Damn your fool mouth blade.
And she says, stay here, I'll see if I can deter them.
Before you leave, is there anything we can do to muffle the scent?
She says, she looks at the two kobolds and says, the trolls can't stand the smell of kobold blood.
I walk over and I chop off one of the kobold's heads with my great axe.
I also attack one of the other kobolds that he does not attack.
They fall down upon the kobolds and slaughter them. And she says, if you wipe the blood on you, it will douse your scent. I'll be right back.
I do that.
I do the so.
Yeah.
Slap, splat.
All right, you begin to rub kobold guts all over your faces and bodies. And you hear that she's gone out into the cave and is actually talking in a low voice with whatever's out there. You can see the hook, the pulley, and the rope get snatched out of the ceiling with a loud crunch, and a cascade of ice falls, and it's just gone. Like,
Oof. Must be pretty big. And I guess I go into that other room.
yeah.
The room with the tunnel
Okay.
across from me. And stealthily, with caution,
All right.
proceed.
You can hear crackling noises
So
when you get to a junction with a passage going left and right. The sound of the crackling is coming from the right. You also hear sounds of footfalls, like they sound like the troll,
Okay.
but there's multiples.
And that's only in the right tunnel, correct?
Only in the right tunnel.
Is there any way I can perceive talking, maybe?
Yeah, make a wisdom perception check.
10.
You can hear no talking, but you can
Can I make out human voices at the very least?
can't make out any voices, but you can hear behind you something flapping, like big flapping wings.
So I go,
Left.
I go left.
So to the left it's quiet. To the right it's the crackling noises with the trolls, and behind you is the flapping wings.
Right.
So you're going.
I'm going left. And I mark that I go left in
All
case
right.
someone ever seems to find me, which they will.
Okay, so you guys are covered in goop, and Macath comes back and says, "The trolls are gone."
Micah, did you care for those kobolds we just killed?
They're just kobolds.
Okay.
And she says, And I was kidding about them hating kobold blood.
I like macabre.
It's a very mean prank, Makoth. A life is a life. How dare you play with life at your will?
Intestine drops off your face.
She says, there's life, and then there's life.
Whoa. Anyway, how can we... is there any way we can...
She says, well, there's no way you'll be able to get off the island if our Thoughtor knows you're here.
Well, that's a problem. Maybe.
How did you get here?
Oh, we have a ship.
Well, he will almost certainly destroy that if he finds it.
The Frost Skimmer.
She says, good name.
You seem to exert power over these simple kobold creatures. Do you
They are
command
easy
them?
to subjugate, easily intimidated.
We seem to be going up against quite a dangerous foe. Is there any way you could command the kobolds to follow us?
They worship the dragon as a god.
Is there a way to appeal to them, to their god?
In order to do what?
In order to have them either A, not attack us, or B, have them join our cause.
Well, they will almost certainly not attack you if I'm with them. Because the dragon has instructed them in no uncertain terms that I am not to be harmed by them.
Is there any way we can convince
And they're
the
quite
dragon?
stupid. They might just believe that you're friends of mine.
I like that kobold joke. I think maybe we are friends.
She says, at the very least I can play along.
I like this girl. Is there any way to convince the dragon not to harm us while we go after the horn?
She says, well, we should find out whether or not the dragon knows you're here or not. If it doesn't know you're here, we can just leave. If it does, we're going to have to kill it.
Wonder where
Makoth,
Mist is.
Lead on.
All right. She will take you out. Back the way you came, actually, and take one of those side passages that you bypassed. And when you go in, you see a very strange sight. It's a rough-walled chamber. You see a dozen giant toads with thick, mottled white hides. I said toads, yes. They're at work here, scribing strange writing into the walls.
Blade, you should inscribe something with them. You have
And
such great ability.
You can also see that not only are they scribing into the ice of the walls, but also onto weathered parchment and stone tablets. And a few toads are transferring or moving the parchments and tablets into and out of floor-to-ceiling cubby holes cut in the ice along an entire wall. And she goes over and goes to one of the toads and goes, "Or, or." And the toad does something similar back to her. And
Makoth, what is this? Makoth, what do you do? What is it? What is all this?
I'm talking to the ice toads.
I assume they're working on your translations that you spoke of.
Yes. And one of the toads, after she speaks to him, sort of goes bounding out of the cave, and she says, the ice toad is going to do a little bit of investigating for us.
What sort of investigation?
To find out if the dragon's aware of any intruders on the island.
Well, how is he going to ask?
In ice toad.
Is he? Makoth, here's my problem. If you walk up to a dragon and you say, "Are you aware of any intruders?" the dragon's going to assume there are intruders.
Well, give the toad some credit. He's not
I don't
stupid.
know. Okay.
She says, I've done this before.
The toad looks like a jolly fellow. Let him do his
He looks like a jolly fellow.
Yes.
That's at best. He does not look like okay.
Now, the toad is big. Like, he could
Yeah.
easily swallow a person.
Okay.
And he sort of gives you a sidelong glance, like, don't worry. I got you covered.
Be cool, Toad. Okay. Okay.
So all we can do is wait.
Yes, now we play the waiting game.
Do you have any food? I hunger.
She says, I do have food back at the tent. We also have a supply of food for the dragon, but no one's allowed to touch it.